Hello, hello. Yes, good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're having a good afternoon. Today is 11th. This is 11th of August. So today I'd like us just to introduce some strategy. I hope most of us are eager to find out our strategy. Most people, even myself, when I started the whole thing about trading, I was looking for somehow the best strategy, the one which will kill it. That is the one which will do exactly as the market is doing. That which, if I enter the trade, I was assured of making something out of it. So far, I've not found anything which I can say that this is 100% perfect. There are some which works very well. There are some which does not work as best as such, but it all depends on how well you are using the one you know to get whatever you want. So no strategy is complete without a proper risk management. There is no strategy which you can say that this is now a complete strategy unless it has a proper risk management. That's when a strategy is complete. As long as a strategy lacks that, that's not a strategy. So whatever you are calling a strategy, whatever you're using as a strategy, it must have a proper risk management. So that's part and parcel of proper strategy. So leave alone the idea of you are risking 20 to get 40. That's just not enough. You must understand how to come up with the proper lot size. So the proper lot says in relation to what your account is having. If your account is having $20, maybe $100 or $1,000 or $100,000, then you must learn how to trade in the proportion according how much you have in your account as the balance, as the equity, not the balance. So one thing, look at this. There is a difference between this equity and then there's a difference between this equity and the balance. So the equity is if you are to close all the currently open trades, this is how much you'd have. Then the balance is what you had before you triggered any position. So that's the first thing you have to understand. Understand that if you are creating a lot sizes for calculating lot sizes, calculate them based on the equity, not the balance. The balance is what was left previously. The equity is what would happen if you closed all positions right now. We'd have 4978.31. The balance is which is what was there previously is 4979.07. So this is one thing which you have to understand. So if you're using maybe the lot size calculator, maybe you have the formula for calculating the lot sizes. Avoid using the balance to calculate how much to risk. Use this to calculate how much you're supposed to be risking. Okay, now back to the strategy. So the two lines we're seeing on my screen, the black one and the red one, these are just the normal moving averages. They are just the normal moving averages. There's nothing special to them. Just the normal moving averages. And the first one, the black one, is 30 period moving average. And just a second. So the first one, this is 30 period moving average. MA method is simple. And we have applied this to close. The color, as you've seen, is black. So shift is 0. Shift is basically start drawing this line from which candle. If you say from candle 1, which means start drawing the moving average from candle 1 backwards. If you say 0, which means start drawing from the current candle backwards. Okay. The next one, the next moving average is 200 period moving average. Shift is 0. MA method is simple. And then apply to the close price. Okay. So the moving average basically is, there is nothing special to it because it just shows you the trend, which is okay. But how it is made is this: you take the closing price for the past X number of candles, then you find the average for them. That becomes the average or the moving average for that period. So if you say 14 period moving average, you're saying the closing price, all the closing price, we find the average of all the closing price for the past 14 candles. And if we say 200 period moving average applied to the close, it means we take the closing price for the past 200 candles, we find the average, and that becomes the moving average for that candle. So this strategy is very useful, especially if you're doing a lesser time frame. If you're doing maybe 5 minutes, you are interested in 1 minute, 5 minutes, things like this. So like you can see, there was this cross here, there was this cross here, there was this cross here, and then there is this cross here. So anytime the price crosses, there is a cross above. Anytime the red moving average crosses above the black moving average, that's a sign that you're supposed to look for a sell position. So when that happens, when there's a cross, that is the red moving average goes above the black moving average, that very instant you're supposed to look for a sell position. You're supposed to look for a sell orders instantly. Pick a sell position. Then I'm not going to say that you're supposed to place your take profit maybe at 20 pips, 30 pips, because that is subject to testing. You don't just come up with some values which you don't understand where they're coming from. The reason I'm saying I'm using 30 and 200 is because I've back tested these values on the strategy tester, and they make sense. They makes whole lot of sense. So if you're trading just purely just a cross between 200 period moving average and 30 period moving average, you are good. So when this happens, when the cross happens, you pick a sell position. Yeah, when the red one goes above the black one, you pick a sell position. And when the black one goes above the red one, you pick a buy position. This one. So this will give us the correct opportunity. When this happens, especially if you're doing a lesser time frame, please instantly pick a buy position. This may not happen all the time, especially if you're looking at one symbol. But if you have a lot of symbols at the same time, you're looking at maybe GBP USD or Euro USD or Brent oil or WTI or however, whatever it is, if you look at several charts at the same time simultaneously, then you'll find that at any given moment, there is always this cross. It always happens. When it happens, enter the trade after the candle which has caused the cross, and then exit instantly when you're in money. That's why it's like a scalping strategy. Almost guaranteed, very, very useful, and very simple. The other one is this one. Look at how well the trend continued. After this cross here, the price continued extremely low. So whoever sold it here took his money, waited until there was the next cross, which was here. Till he made his money, and then wait for the next cross. So from my own experience, it may look like this a slow strategy. It may look like it's slow. It takes you time to make money. It's taking a lot of time maybe, but it is much more assured than if you're just trading every day trying to understand one thing which is not useful. Does that make sense, whatever I'm saying? So when this happens, when the cross happens, sorry about that. So when the cross happens, that is always the correct place to look for a trade. When the cross happens, that is always the ideal place to look for a trade from. So that should be whatever I wanted to cover for today. I'm sorry, I switched screen without knowing. That is uncalled for. Sorry. So you can see, just check the past, you can see what was happening. There was this cross here. There was this cross here. There was some cross which happened. They're not very good one. And then there's some crosses here which were really useful. So thank you very much. And that should be the end of this session. I will be meeting again next week at the same time. So thank you. See you.